This is the Twisting Tongues experiment. Now I'm going to tell you straight away, this is all to do with tongue twisters. And before you ask me what's tongue twisters got to do with science, remember with the way we speak and how we use our mouth and make sound, that's all science, isn't it? It's all the science of sound, or the sound of science, depending which way you look at it. So on my piece of paper here, my book actually, I've got a number of tongue twisters written down. Now of course I don't have time to go through all these with you now, so we're just going to make a little selection of some of my favourite ones, okay? You can't read this, so what I'm going to do, just in a few seconds, we're going to bring up a selection of 4 on screen for you. They're of a particular type. Now before you see them, this is what I want you to do. I'm going to tell you now. You're going to see 4 tongue twisters written out on screen. All you've got to do is read each one, just start at the top, read it as fast as you can. Now most of you probably won't have too much problem reading it just once, but the thing about these tongue twisters is you've got to see how many times you can repeat it before you make a mistake, okay? So how many times can you repeat it before you make a mistake, okay? So they're coming up on screen now. So let me read them off, make sure you can see them. You've got black bug's blood. You have freshly fried fresh flesh. Nearly got it wrong the first time. You got Willie's real rear wheel, and you have unique New York. So remember the rule, go through each one as fast as you can. Don't read it as slow as I did, that's rubbish. You've got to go much faster than that. Read each one as fast as you can, but repeat it as many times as you can without making a mistake, and make a note of how many times you've done it before you get it wrong, and see how you get on. Now of course you may want to have a little play with this, so we're going to leave this on screen just for a few seconds, but what you might want to do is press the pause button. Off you go. Okay, so I wonder how you got on with that. Well, we're going to come back to that in a minute. I'm going to give you one more type of tongue twister, because there are different types actually. I'm going to give you 2 different types to do. You've just done one type, you did 4 different versions of it, and there's loads more by the way, but you've just done 4. Next one we're going to bring up on screen 2 tongue twisters, okay, just 2, but these are of different type, they're longer sentences, okay. What I want you to do when you see these is again read them through, and if you could cheat like I'm going to in a way and read them slowly, but I don't recommend that. Part of the fun is reading it quickly without even reading it once. So without even reading it, read through each one as fast as you can and see if you can read it even once without making a mistake, okay. So I'm going to bring them up on screen and I'll read them to you slowly, but you mustn't do that, you've got to go through fast. I'm going to bring them on screen now, and this is what you should be able to see. Which wicked witch wished which wicked wish? And remember, you've got to go much faster than that, that was rubbish. Then the other one, the 6th sheep's sick. Okay, we're going to leave these on screen again for a little while, but it might be useful to press the pause button now and then carry on when you've done it. So how did you get on? Actually, normally I have a lot of fun with these, and most people do. It's really good fun because you're going to be really caught out more than you think. The first type, remember, was the short ones. So for example, the last one was unique New York, wasn't it? Now I've got to be honest, I'm not even going to try and do these because I'm totally rubbish. I normally get that wrong after about 3 or 4 goes. Interestingly, unique New York is said to be one of the hardest tongue twisters of that type. Now I don't know if you found that. You may have, if so, you may have managed to get the other 3 above it. You may have managed to do them maybe 6 or 7 times before you made a mistake, I don't know. But most people in experiments they've done report that that unique New York one, which to me looks actually the easiest, seems to be the hardest for most. I say I normally get to about 3 or 4 and I've got it, I've lost it then, and I make a mistake. I normally say unique New York or something like that. I bet you probably did too. The second type, the second one you did, the 6th sheep's, see I get it wrong once. That one is said to be the hardest of that type of one, the much longer sentence one. Most people get that one wrong. And remember, particularly if you go fast, that's the key to this. If you read slowly like I did, that's rubbish. You won't make any mistakes. You've got to read it fast. So why are you making mistakes? These aren't difficult. What's going on? Well, you've got to remember, when you speak, of course, we have to put our mouth in different shapes. And in fact, there's 4 main things that help you make sounds in particular ways. You've got the shape of your throat, you've got the shape of your mouth inside, you've got what you're doing with your tongue, and what you're doing with your lips, okay? And of course we've got air coming up as well, and we've got sound coming up from our voice box and all these other things. But in terms of shapes and changing shapes, the four about your throat, your tongue, the shape of your mouth and your lips are pretty important. It turns out, if you think about it, as you're speaking normally, you have to keep moving these things around, changing the shapes and positions of things like your tongue and your lips to say different sounds. Now, tongue twisters are written in such a way that you have similar sounds in one word after another, sometimes just two words together. The next word, you'll have to get your mouth into a particular position to say that next word, but the way you have to do it is so quick that sometimes you don't get time to move your throat or your tongue or the shape of your mouth or your lips into that new position quickly enough, and you just end up saying the word totally wrong. So in short then, you get it wrong because you haven't got time to reposition everything the way you need to, and it just often makes you slip up. So that's basically how tongue twisters work. Now think of variables. Well, if that's true, if it's to do with one word being followed by another word which has maybe similar sounds in it to the one before, like some of those you saw were like that, weren't they? Then maybe the obvious thing you could try and do is make up your own tongue twisters that maybe obey that rule, and see if you find it's quite hard to quickly change your mouth position and your throat and so on from one to the next to make that new word. Of course, the other thing you could do is do what I did when I wrote about this and wanted to find out about it. I found a book, funnily enough, all about tongue twisters, but I actually went on the internet and I did a search and I found hundreds and hundreds of them. And do you know what? I found tongue twisters in 100 languages. I couldn't believe it. 100 languages of tongue twisters. So I've only just done them in English. So maybe you can have a lot of fun with this one. And some of them are hilarious. You'll be laughing your head off. So have some fun with that.